Hey everybody, listen, I am so excited. You want to know why? Because August 28th is right around the corner, like right there. Like it's Monday. I'm so excited. I'm excited that Grace in a Shattered Place will officially be launched. I'm excited. And yes, I know the book has been out for a couple of weeks and a lot of you have gotten it early, but it wasn't on all of the sites. So that's why I haven't said share it, read it, share it, buy it. But now, y'all, I'm saying share it, read it, buy it, do all of that stuff. On the 28th, there will be a graphic. Y'all, I'm not good at saying I need your support. I'm not good at saying I need you to buy this, I need you to share it, but I do. I know you've seen me on social media a little more lately, but that is so out of my comfort zone. But let me tell you what I do believe. I believe in the message of this book. I also believe that when God gives you a message to share, that message will promote itself. However, if nobody knows that a message is out there, then nobody knows that there's a message to promote. So I am doing my part. I want to say thank you to all of you who have already purchased books. I've gotten inbox messages from some of you saying that it's encouraged you. Some of you have personally messaged me or sent me an email or sent me a text message. I saw your picture with a book on Facebook. Thank you. That was so encouraging to me. I think that picture sent me over the hill. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is also a notice to me that I don't even know who has the book. Thank you. Some of you that I haven't heard from in a long time, and you have messaged me. Y'all have sent me like into a tear frenzy so many times. Thank you. I'm encouraged by you. I'm encouraged by your support of the message of this book. So, August 28th, y'all, but today, I wanted to do something really different for me. I wanted to share with you a little bit of the story behind Grace in a Shattered Place. Because sometimes, y'all, we don't always get it right. And Grace in a Shattered Place was birthed out of me not getting it right. And so you're really experiencing my growing pains. So I hope that the book helps you to grow and that you don't necessarily experience all of the pain. Let me share my story with you. In a hotel room with a bottle of Tylenol PM that I had just purchased from my local wholesale store, I sat in severe emotional pain. Life had not been kind to me. In short, trauma, infertility as an adult, miscarriages, the death of my 3-year-old daughter, resulting medical problems from grief and stress, a necessary job change that came with a drastic pay cut, and a sudden and rapid change in my family as it was ripped apart. I allowed my mind to toss back and forth. Take the pills or fight. Take the pills or fight. All the while, my therapist kept calling and checking on me intermittently. I kept taking her calls because I didn't really want the out, just like you don't. I wanted the pain to end. See, I love Jesus. I really love Jesus. And although the road of life has really caused me to question how much I believe and rely on Him, I have always come back to what's truly in my heart. I love Jesus. So when these last few years of trauma and tragedy had come crashing down on me, I was ashamed that I found myself in this place, even though I loved Jesus. Stephanie, you can get through this, my therapist said on the other end of the phone. In tears, I whimpered as she just kept trying to get me to respond. I was trying to speak. It's just that I was in too much pain to try to muster up the words. Finally, I spoke. No, I can't, I replied back. I absolutely cannot. Stephanie, If you are thinking of killing yourself, you need to go to the hospital, she said. She was on vacation. Stephanie, do you need to go to the hospital? Silence. Stephanie? We had a few phone calls like this. Bless her sweetheart. She had been a godsend in my life because I know she doesn't do this with everybody. But she believed in me. And she believed that I could make it past where I was. So did a lot of other people. But their belief wasn't enough to stop my pain, my thoughts, or my plan. But by our last phone call, I was exhausted. My emotions were exhausted. So, I took 2 of those pills and decided to sleep on it. Because taking that out brought just as many thoughts of fear as it did of being my way out. I woke up the next morning feeling drained, but I got up, got dressed, put my makeup on, and went to church. I guess I had changed my mind. Although I wasn't sure. I hadn't made up my mind to live. I just, well, kept living. The church service was good and the message was good. But I can't say it was one of those awe inspiring times where I felt like God saw me in that hotel room the night before and had a message directly for me. See, those times happen, but sometimes we insist on looking for the sign to pull us up. And when there is no sign, we assume there is no God working. So, I am going to give you the real. Sometimes there are no signs. And on this particular day, when I so desperately needed a sign, there was no sign. So many of my dark days at that point were spent under a cloud of darkness. And I would quickly cut anyone down who even suggested that I might have some control over things that seemed entirely beyond my control. Then, a friend who loved me enough not to give up on me, even though I met all of her suggestions with hopelessness, asked me a question that money could not answer. How much time do you spend with God every day, Stephanie? Wait a minute. Girl, me and Jesus are tight. We talk every day. Mostly about how lately I feel he isn't listening. But we talk. How dare you insist that I am not spending time with God? How dare you? Now, these weren't statements I said out loud because, of course, they would have given away to the fact that clearly me and Jesus were not as tight as we needed to be. And you know what? We weren't. Yes, I was saved. Yes, I love Jesus. Yes, being in his presence still made me cry. And for the moments when someone else ushered me there, it was wonderful, even life-giving. But I had stopped ushering myself into his presence. And not intently either. See, I loved Jesus, but trauma and tragedy overwhelmed me. And soon I stopped doing life with Jesus and just started trying to manage my life. I didn't want to admit it, but I needed to get back to spending time with God. I softened my heart towards my friend. In a matter of seconds, actually. She never got the rundown of the thoughts that I just gave you. And then I admitted that I really could do better about spending time with God. And so I did. I made it a point to actually find time in a day where I wasn't just praying to Him. Because really, I did that already. I'm a good Christian. I told you. But there's a reason I'm sharing this with you. So pay attention. You might just see yourself. I was only praying. I wasn't reading my Bible, studying His Word, filling myself up on His promises, or spending time in worship. So this time, I made it a point to find time in my day where I wasn't just praying, but I took time to study His Word and to worship Him. I started looking for resources that would help me draw close to Him. And then I started to actually do what I read and heard. I started to believe that I could come out of the shadows. I started to believe that I was not a victim. I started to believe that I could change the way I saw myself if I started to see myself through his eyes. And then, little by little, I began to ease my way out of depression and not into happiness, not into joy. I know you probably thought that's what I was going to say, but nope. Happiness is temporary. And although joy is a fruit of the Spirit that should remain on the inside, sometimes there is a journey back to joy when your hope has been stripped away. So, I didn't ease my way into happiness or joy, but I did ease my way into God's love. And in his love, I found grace. And through his grace, I found everything I needed to fight the painful life circumstances that had me wanting to take that out. So, this book that I wrote is about that same love and grace that helped me decide that I could fight through my pain. It's about that grace that helped me to remember that God is still God and He still has my life under His control. It's not a memoir about how devastating these tragic events in my life have been. Sure, I share a little here and there to remind you that I'm on this journey with you. But I really take the time to get you to think about the areas in your life that God's grace appears. Listen, you don't have to be in a place of devastation to be encouraged by this book. You just have to have had some disappointments, some letdowns, some life detours, some hopes and dreams that maybe haven't turned out your way. You just have to have been let down by a person or two, felt misunderstood, struggled in the middle of a season when you desperately longed to be on the other side. Maybe infertility isn't your shattered place. Maybe the death of a child isn't your shattered place. Maybe separation or divorce isn't your shattered place. Maybe having to start over in your career isn't your shattered place. But something in your life is shattered. I don't say that gladly. I say that knowingly because life hands us all some shattered pieces. So, intently, sometimes while writing, I say I to share a bit of my story. Sometimes I say you to incite a call to action. But most times I say we because we are on this journey together. This journey to embrace His grace. I pray that you are encouraged and uplifted. Know that a life submitted to God may come with some bumps and bruises. Wait, who am I kidding? Know that a life submitted to God may come with many bumps and bruises. But a life submitted to God and lived well always brings Him glory in the end. Be blessed as you find His grace in your shattered place.